Every Monday at 9 a.m., I wired my sister $500. It was my silent pact for peace, a fragile tie holding our family together after our parents' crash 5 years ago. But last week, Emma skipped my promotion party, the milestone I'd built my startup around, inviting her a month in advance. When I asked why over the phone, her tone turned flat. Your career success. It doesn't matter to us. The words hit like ice water, squeezing my chest until breath caught. I didn't yell or beg. I just pulled up my banking app, fingers unsteady, and began canceling the transfers. 30 minutes later, my phone rang. That call shattered everything. Those Mondays had anchored me through the chaos of launching my HR tech firm in Ohio's Rust Belt towns. Long hours coding platforms for small businesses left me drained, but the ritual steadied me. Logging in, entering the amount, watching the confirmation flash. Not pure generosity, more like duty, a way to keep Emma afloat after the accident orphaned us both. She'd struggled, dropping out of college, bouncing jobs, while I clawed toward stability. I told myself the money bridged the gap, rebuilt trust one payment at a time. But cracks had formed months back. Her replies grew curt during check-ins. She dodged questions about bills or plans. Once, she mentioned needing extra for Todd's medical issues, pulling at my guilt without details. I pushed doubts aside, convinced it was just life wearing her down. Tension simmered unspoken, a low hum under our calls. Then the party invite went out, my big break, a networking event at a Cleveland venue where deals could launch my company. I pictured her there, proud, finally seeing my grind pay off. Her response came vague. Too busy, maybe next time. The excuse landed heavy, stirring unease I couldn't name. Days before the event, I followed up, voice tight with hope. She brushed it off indirectly, implying family priorities outweighed my work thing. Hurt flickered, but I swallowed it, focusing on prep. The night arrived, venue buzzing with contacts, my pitch deck ready. Guests mingled, deals sparked, but an empty spot gnawed at me, her chair vacant. No text, no call. By evening's end, exhaustion mixed with a sharper edge, betrayal's first sting. Back home, I scrolled messages, finding only silence from her. The next morning, resolve hardened. I dialed, demanding answers. Her deflection came quick, prior commitments, nothing personal. But the casual dismissal ignited something deeper, a fracture widening. Doubt flooded in. All those payments, and this was the return? My pulse quickened, replaying her words, the indifference cutting through years of support. Trust eroded fast, replaced by a building pressure in my chest, confusion twisting toward anger. I ended the call abruptly, staring at the screen, the weight of unspoken lies pressing down. Each ignored hint from the past month replayed, delayed thanks, evasive updates on her life with Todd in California. The ritual that once felt secure now exposed as one-sided, my efforts fueling her detachment. Nap tension coiled tighter, every unanswered question fueling the rift. I paced the office, mind racing through patterns, her sudden emergencies, aligning with my paydays, the luxury posts online clashing with pleas for help. The promotion high soured into isolation. Colleagues' congrats rang hollow without family there. A single email from her arrived late. Sorry, but life happens. The brevity fueled fury, a cold burn spreading. No more ignoring the signs, the chill in her voice, the way she'd sidestep gratitude. The peace I'd bought crumbled, leaving raw vulnerability. As evening fell, resolve sharpened amid the ache. This wasn't just a missed event. It was the breaking point, propelling me toward truths I'd delayed facing. The hum of doubt swelled into determination, the first step from victim to someone reclaiming control. The day after the party, I woke with the missed event replaying in loops, each recollection sharpening the edge of doubt. My promotion, sealing a major client for the HR platform, should have felt triumphant, but Emma's absence hollowed it out. I grabbed my phone, thumb hovering over her contact. The weight of unanswered texts pressing heavier than the night before. Dialing her, I kept my voice even, pressing for the reason behind the no-show. She answered after 3 rings, her tone casual at first, then shifting to defensiveness as I pushed. Instead of owning the slight, she implied my work milestone paled against her daily grind, dismissing it as just another corporate pat on the back. The words landed like accusations reversed, turning my hurt into fuel for questions I'd buried. Why the sudden distance? Her responses came in fragments, vague mentions of Todd's stress, bills piling up, echoing the pleas that justified my weekly wires. But something cracked in her pause, a hesitation that pulled me deeper. I mentioned checking in on their finances, casually at first, then firmer when she evaded. That's when the floodgates opened, not in shouts, but in her reluctant admissions slipping through like cracks in a dam. For months, she'd exaggerated hardships, fabricating stories of emergencies to keep the money flowing. The $500 didn't go to rent or groceries. It covered credit card debts from lavish getaways, designer splurges Todd insisted on to keep up appearances in their California circle. She confessed indirectly at first, blaming lifestyle pressures, but the details piled on. Luxury brunches posted online while begging for help, fake medical claims for Todd that never materialized into doctor visits. My support had bankrolled their facade, not survival. Shock rooted me to the spot, breath shallow as the betrayal unfolded. All those late nights building my firm, sacrificing sleep to send transfers, and they'd twisted it into entitlement. Anger surged next, hot and disorienting, clashing with the confusion of how I'd missed the signs, her polished social media against the desperate calls. I didn't lash out verbally. The call ended with me hanging up mid-sentence, her protests cut short. Alone now, the room's silence amplified the roar in my head, pieces clicking into place. Flashbacks hit, her quick thanks after payments, always paired with new requests, Todd's offhand comments about easy money during rare video chats. The trust I'd clung to shattered, leaving a raw void filled by rising resolve. This wasn't mere oversight. It was calculated drain on my stability, her indifference to my success the final twist of the knife. Humiliation burned me, the reliable sister, reduced to an ATM in their narrative. But beneath the pain, a colder clarity emerged, pushing past tears that threatened but didn't fall. I pulled up bank statements on my laptop, cross-referencing dates with her posts, a yacht rental coinciding with my biggest wire, spa weekends masking as recovery time. The evidence mounted, each line a betrayal documented. Tension built with every scroll, my pulse steadying into purpose. No more blind faith. This revelation demanded action, not despair. The emotional storm peaked in that hour. Grief for the sister I'd imagined, fury at the manipulation, disorientation from the rewritten past. Yet it forged something unbreakable, determination to reclaim what they'd stolen, not through rage, but precision. By evening, the initial shock ebbed into strategic focus, the hurt transforming into the drive that would redefine us both. She'd exposed her hand. Now mine turned over, ready to play. Sleep evaded me that night, the confession's echoes chasing every attempt at rest. Emma's words replayed relentlessly, the fabricated emergencies, the luxury indulgences funded by my transfers, Todd's complicity in the deception. Pain throbbed deep, a visceral ache from the sisterly bond I'd nurtured now exposed as one-sided exploitation. But as dawn broke, grief morphed into a steely focus, the betrayal's sting forging resolve rather than defeat. I rose early, pulling up digital records on my laptop, bank statements, email threads, social media archives, each click uncovering layers of their duplicity. The first wire after our parents' death aligned with her initial rent crisis, but cross-checks revealed a vacation booking instead. More followed, pleas for Todd's treatments coinciding with spa retreats, grocery bags masking high-end dining posts. Anger simmered hotter with each discovery, humiliation fueling a precise cataloging of the drain on my resources. This wasn't random oversight. It was systematic, her casual dismissals of my success the mask for entitlement. By mid-morning, the emotional whirlwind stabilized into calculation, no outbursts, just methodical assembly of proof. I drafted notes on patterns, payment dates matching their online boasts, evasive replies during my check-ins hinting at guilt. Tension mounted as I delved deeper, pulse quickening at the scale, thousands siphoned while I bootstrapped my firm through lean months. The victim role I'd inhabited cracked further, replaced by a burgeoning agency. They'd weaponized my loyalty, but now knowledge armed me. Indirectly, through old voicemails, her voice confirmed the lies, tone shifting from desperation to relief post-transfer. I saved screenshots, timestamps aligning deceptions with my sacrifices. Resolve hardened amid the fury, disorientation giving way to clarity. Justice demanded exposure, not destruction. I outlined the approach next, targeting Ohio's entrepreneur networks where Emma peddled her coaching facade, claiming family backing for credibility. An anonymous post in those groups would mirror her boasts back at her, evidence embedded to dismantle the illusion. Doubt flickered briefly. Could this sever us irreparably? But the fresh wound overrode it, propelling forward momentum. Each compiled file intensified the internal shift, confusion yielding to empowered strategy. By afternoon, the plan solidified. No direct confrontation, but a public reflection of their actions, letting scrutiny do the unraveling. The pressure built in my chest, not from fear, but anticipation of reckoning. They'd thrived on secrecy, but truth would strip that away. I reviewed the dossier once more, the weight of documented betrayal transforming pain into purposeful drive. This preparation marked the pivot from passive supporter to architect of accountability, each step deepening the transformation. Evening brought a quiet intensity, the day's revelations etching cold determination. Tomorrow, the mirror would face them, consequences unfolding from their own reflections. The next morning, I logged into the Ohio Entrepreneurs Network forum under a throwaway account, fingers steady as I uploaded the compiled evidence. The post title cut direct, exposed, family coaching facade built on stolen funds. No accusations leveled personally at first, just the facts laid bare. Screenshots of transfers dated precisely to Emma's Instagram boasts of coastal escapes and high-end coaching retreats, email excerpts where she spun hardship tales to extract more. I embedded the patterns without naming names initially, linking to her public profiles for the connections to click. The goals stayed surgical, reflect their deceptions back at the community they'd courted for clients, letting the network's scrutiny unravel the threads. Tension knotted in my gut as I hit publish, the screen's glow marking the irreversible step. No turning back now. Within minutes, views ticked up. By lunch, the first comments rolled in, entrepreneurs voicing skepticism about coaches hiding financial rot. Emma's phone buzzed first, a frantic text demanding to know if I'd gone public. I ignored it, watching notifications surge as shares spread to linked groups. Cleveland businesswomen, Midwest startup hub. Her coaching gigs, built on claims of family-supported integrity, faced immediate backlash. One potential client pulled out via comment, citing trust erosion. Indirectly, through a mutual contact's message, she learned the post targeted her, panic evident in the relayed pleas for takedown. Todd jumped in next, his call going to voicemail where he ranted about ruining their lives, implying desperation masked as outrage. The emotional churn hit me then, satisfaction mingling with a sharp pang of finality, the sister I'd fought for slipping away in real time. But resolve held firm. This wasn't vengeance for pain, but accountability for the exploitation that had drained my progress. Afternoon brought escalation. Her followers dipped sharply, reviews on her site turning sour with questions about funding sources. A local news blurb picked it up, anonymized but pointing to sibling financial disputes in coaching circles, amplifying the fallout. Clients canceled sessions, refunds demanded, her online empire cracking under the weight of exposed lies. I monitored from my office, pulse racing with each update, the humiliation I'd felt now mirrored in their scrambling defenses, posts deleted, stories revised to spin victimhood. No direct replies from me. Silence amplified the consequences, forcing them to confront the mirror I'd held up. By evening, a family group chat erupted, cousins and aunts weighing in, some siding with me after seeing the proofs, others urging reconciliation. Emma's indirect appeals came through them. Promises to repay, excuses about misunderstandings, but the damage spread, her California network whispering about credibility hits, Todd's side gigs drying up from association. The pressure peaked in a late call from our aunt, relaying Emma's breakdown, begging me to intervene. I declined calmly, stating the truth spoke for itself. Satisfaction bloomed quietly amid the chaos, respect for my restraint growing as the fallout proved self-inflicted. Their facade crumbled not from my shouts, but from the light on their shadows. Deals lost, reputations tarnished, isolation closing in. The internal shift completed here, from wounded supporter to detached observer. the act reclaiming power without stooping low. Night fell with reports of their apologies circulating online, hollow without action, the reckoning fully underway. The storm subsided within a week, notifications slowing to a trickle as the online frenzy peaked and faded. Emma's final message arrived that morning, a curt apology admitting the misuse of funds, laced with pleas for mercy that rang hollow after years of extraction. I read it once, then archived without reply. Words couldn't erase the erosion of trust or the nights I'd sacrificed for her facade. Blocking their numbers came next, a swift tap severing the digital tether. No more demands disguised as family ties. My startup demanded focus now, client meetings stacking up in Cleveland, where the promotion's momentum finally felt untainted. Colleagues noticed the shift during a strategy session. My pitch is sharper, decisions unburdened, crediting it to the recent win, unaware of the deeper purge. Internally, the calm settled like sediment after a flood. Pain lingered as a dull echo, but anger had transmuted into quiet authority, the betrayal's scar marking growth rather than weakness. I redirected energies to the firm, expanding the HR platform's features for small Ohio businesses, securing a new investor pitch without the shadow of financial bleed. Emma's indirect fallout filtered through mutuals. Ants relayed updates on her scrambling for freelance gigs, Todd's job hunt stalled by the scandal's ripple. Their coaching venture dissolved quietly, clients vanishing as reviews highlighted the ethical lapses, forcing a pivot to low-profile work that barely covered basics. Satisfaction stirred faintly, not triumphant glee, but a measured respect for the process. Their choices had engineered the collapse, my exposure merely illuminating the cracks. No victory parade needed. The internal peace proved reward enough, a steady rhythm replacing the chaos of obligation. Evenings brought routine without regret, reviewing code, planning expansions. The weight lifted, allowing sharper vision for my path. Family redefined itself organically. A cousin's invite to a local entrepreneur meetup filled the void, bonds forged on mutual ambition rather than blood-tainted duty. When the aunt called seeking mediation, I responded indirectly through her, affirming boundaries without reopening wounds. Reconciliation stayed off the table until actions matched remorse. The transformation peaked in solitude, staring at the laptop screen during a late work session, realizing control had returned, not through destruction, but detachment. They'd unraveled their own empire of lies, left to rebuild amid the debris. I, meanwhile, advanced unencumbered, the startup's growth accelerating as resources stayed mine. Hope flickered in small wins, a team member's praise for my leadership, a client's renewal signaling stability. The catharsis arrived unspoken, a breath drawn free of chains. Betrayal had tested, but emerging whole affirmed resilience. If you'd faced similar fractures, know this. Stepping away reclaims more than justice. It unlocks the strength to thrive unbound.